Hey everyone, thought I'd do a quick video on just what is support or resistance. Um, so I've had a few questions about this, and it's probably for a lot of people who are subscribed or following me, maybe it's a bit basic, but for new people starting out, it's definitely one of the most important things you could ever learn. Um, so really, charts are simply made up of hold levels, break levels. Break levels can be converted into break level origins or origin levels or breakout levels, as you call them. I've done a video on that one recently. And trends. So it's simply a place where price can reverse its laddering. So if it's moving down, um, in ranges, it will find some form of support, and at that support, it could reverse its laddering and start moving up. So you would long support, and of course, resistance is something exactly the same thing, but it's going to be above the current price. And as price is moving up, if it runs into resistance, it can hit that resistance and it can start to ladder down. So um, when it comes to support and resistance, one of the common questions people often ask is which one, because there's just levels all over the place on charts. And so I guess some of the key things is it's about the time frame. So if you're trading on, say, a 2 week chart, like I have sitting here in front of us, well, you would be looking for 2 week support versus 2 week resistance. And it is kind of like a versus thing, because there will be some form of resistance on the 2 week, which is trying to send price to some form of support. And the job of the resistance is to break the support, and the job of the support is to try and break the resistance. So it's all about the time frame. And then, of course, when there's multiple resistances, which one is going to be stronger? Well, the higher time frame is going to be stronger. So if you're setting up a chart, you should always be working from top down. So you would look for what resistances do you have on the monthly, which resistances do you have on the weekly, which resistances do you have on the daily. Because if you're taking a scalp on a daily support straight into a monthly resistance, your daily support is probably not going to beat your monthly resistance. You might actually get it. You might win your trade. There's other factors, when you sort of get more advanced as to how long something can push into support or resistance before it has to start to react to it. But for the most part, the higher the time frame, the stronger the support or resistance is going to be. And also the older, think of the patience that a trader would have to leave a position sitting there for years to be triggered. It might be a long or a short position, but it means that the money they left sitting there, they just don't care about it. They're not using it. They're not cycling it. It's therefore they have a lot of it. So that's another thing. So basically, the higher the time frame, the stronger. The older, the stronger. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of examples. So let's look at say a monthly chart. So on a monthly chart, back in 2021, we created a hold level here with this engulfing candle, and we created a break level up here, and so that was our break level. And at the time, we had a break level here, and we didn't really have a hold level. There was nothing to really support the price, so you can imagine what happens if it lost the break level. That was the end of that. So if we take that back and you think about extreme patience, we create this resistance. We have resistance we've created up here. We have support that we tried to have here. And we lose that support when we hard close this candle. So we go down, we come back up, we reject off the backside of support. And so this is the thing. Once price has spent enough time on one side of support, it becomes resistance. So by spending too much time down here, we have then bounced off the backside of what should have supported price, but didn't, has become resistance, and then it gets hard closed as resistance. So all through time, we will be creating new levels of support and resistance. So we create a hold level here. So this is, just call it hold. And you've also got to start looking at trends. So if we were to take the top of that monthly and run it to that first yellow candle, so that was our first trend resistance. Now, when we hard close this month in accumulation over the top of that trend resistance, that breaks that resistance. And that is why the price then spikes up here and targets this resistance. This resistance then sends the price back down again. So this breaks this resistance. This goes and tests the next resistance. The resistance sends the price down again. So in doing that, we create a range trend here. This now needs to act as support. This is lost, it becomes resistance. So let's have a look and see what happens with our support and resistance. So we open above it. See, we just tap it there, but we haven't. No, we're losing it. As you can see, it's gone. Now, one of the reasons for that is when you break a trend, what happens is the trend moves. And so it moves to there. Now, until we then hard close the new trend with another month of accumulation, we are still being drawn down by this trend. How things would have played out very differently is that if this candle here had closed in accumulation, particularly back up inside that range, which it could have, then it would target the next resistance being this hold level up here at 202. But that's not how it worked. So what happened is it closed in distribution. It has not broken the trend resistance since the trend moved. And in turn, we then go down. Now, of course, we are once again under this level of new resistance. See what happens. Okay. And so it's pretty common to see candles like this open in a state where it's basically 50-50. You know, you've got all these resistances above. This is losing its ability to be support because we've gone down underneath and we haven't bounced back up. We've got resistance of this hold level up here. We're still being dragged down by resistance of this trend. This candle has to flip into a yellow candle, and when it does, it would test the backside of this resistance. Now, it could still fail from there. Because this candle opened above it, it could come up and test this resistance if it flipped yellow. But again, that resistance could just reject the price. So as it currently stands, this, where price is, it's just got all this resistance above it, and it's got very, very little to actually support it. So chances of that price actually being able to go up is very, very low. So we'll just keep on going through. Okay. Once again, we've opened in a position where we could break and move this downtrend if it closes yellow. And if it does, then it's then got to compete with these resistances above. Okay, so it does. It breaks yellow. So we now get our next trend. And so this trend is going to want to pull this price down. This is going to want to reject. This is going to want to reject. And we don't have a hold level. So when you look at these candles, engulfing candles, that creates a resistance level. That creates a resistance level. Back here, before we started this demonstration, this created a support level. And that is why the price bounced from there initially. So it gave us this little bounce. That was our support. So down here, we don't have support generated. That means it's going to be very, very hard to break that trend, right? So you're more likely going to actually get pulled back towards that trend because you don't have a hold level. So see, yep. So it's in a state of kind of limbo where we've created a new resistance to the downside. So this is a hold level. We're on this side of the trend, but we didn't close the candle yellow. So therefore, we've still got more resistance in play than what we have any form of support. So let's just see how that goes. See, we can see we're rejecting off resistance. We closed it yellow, and now we've got our next trend. Okay. Next thing, because we have hit this hold level, is we will have some kind of break level. Now, I haven't actually marked them out as we've been going, so that's kind of a bit bad of me, but we have a break level here. So this is break. And there will be a lower time frame one inside here. It's not a monthly because there's only one candle, but let's cover that off in other videos. So we're still pushing into this resistance. We've moved our trend. One other thing, which is a bit more of an advanced topic, but normally you will get about 5 arrays of a trend before you will start to see some form of time frame reversal. So it is kind of just not good to have expectations of high time frames reversing when you've only got sort of one downtrend. You know, more likely you're going to have to array this thing out 4, 5, sometimes 6 times before you've actually found the real reversal point. So let's just see how we go. So we have a hold level. At this stage, we've got a break level. Now we've hit our hold level, so that resistance is now being tested. Unlike these ones above, well, actually that break level's been tested there. We also have another break level there, so let's just put that on the chart. So, okay, so we haven't tested this one above, so it's still resistance for the future. We haven't tested this one here, so that's still resistance for the future. We haven't tested this break level here, so that's still resistance for the future. We've got a break level here, which is resistance for the future. And we have tested this hold level, so let's just call that hold tested. So that's resistance, but it has been hit. Okay, so this is a sign that we are getting close to being able to reverse our price. And we know that because we've got 4 arrays of our trend. We've got all these hold levels up here that we haven't tested. We've got this break level under here that we haven't revisited. And yet now we are starting to revisit our levels. Okay, so let's just see what happens next. Okay, so we're still under there. And as you can see, we're still under there. Right. So what do we got? Just sort of vaguely at some other time frame, there is a hold level here. It's not a full engulfment, but there will be a hold level there on another time frame. So put that in. We have a breakout level here. So if you ever get 2 candles like this, and one wick goes up above the wick of the other candle of the same type, then and yet comes down in a big dump like that, then you know that at some time frame there is a breakout level, so an origin level is in there somewhere. We'll call it break in here somewhere. Okay. All right, so when price closes over that, you can start to see more volume appearing, and the price should therefore jump up to the upside. And there's some lower time frames. The reason this is quite important is that price can't reverse purely just on a monthly time frame. when it starts to reverse at a lower time frame, like a 1 second, and then that becomes a 1 minute, and then that becomes a on and on we go. So we've got 4 levels of array. We've got lower time frame actions starting to happen. We've got breakout levels forming based on the wick configuration. We're not even like we can some more advanced videos, or join us in the Discord, etc. if you sort of want to know about fractal nature of price and how it all works. But this is now an area where price can reverse, and it's starting to do its thing. Okay, so let's just keep going. Right. Okay, let's see how this closes. All right, so now what you've got is you've got support hold level. So this is now on the other side. So just label it support. It's probably the very first one on the chart, a monthly. So you've now got a support level. We've now got a new trend. So if we take our trend and we move that, so that's now our trend. We've opened on the top side of trend with support underneath. So at this point, we really could start to think, okay, well, the price is going to reverse here. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so trend stays where it is. Nothing's changing. So you can see we've got no hold levels being formed to the downside. We haven't come under this yellow candle. We've created this distribution range. But the interesting thing about this distribution range is the distribution range has stayed inside this one candle of accumulation, which means the distribution is now becoming weaker than what the accumulation was. This is a sign that resistance is breaking down and price has the ability to actually start to move up. So what we're looking for is we're looking for another hold level. And what do we get? Okay, so now we have another hold level. I'll just spread this out a bit so you can sort of see what's going on here. So this has now engulfed this, creating a hold level. We have a break level at the top of, I'll just copy paste one of these. We have a break level up here at the top of our distribution range. So now if we were to actually break over that break level, then that means we have created accumulation superior to that of distribution, and the trend is reversing. So you can see it bounces off the support here. So now we've got to challenge all of these various resistance levels on the way back up to make sure that the price actually keeps going up. So we've also got a new trend in there, by the way. But at this point, because you've gone past your 5 arrays, the trends are almost becoming a little bit less important, that they're on the top side, more like the horizontal resistance levels are sort of the more important areas. And you also could now start your first uptrend. That is now our uptrend. So we opened this candle just above our uptrend and see how it goes. Let's see. So now we're below our uptrend. So if this candle closes blue, this moves down. We also created some new hold level in here. So this is now resistance. So yeah, so at this point, you sort of see prices going between hold and resistance. It's really, this is sort of what you get with accumulation. This candle either needs to sort of break out and keep going to the upside, or it's going to move this trend. So let's just see how that goes. Down we go. We hit our hold support level, and now it's a case of will that level actually hold the price. If the candle closes blue, the trend moves. So in fact, I should probably just put these all on like we have the other ones. So that was our first uptrend. This is now that support was lost with this candle. This became the support. This didn't really lose it, but this one did because it's a hard close, and there's videos about hard closes and how they make a difference to how you move trends. So now we have this trend support running along here. We've got another break level to contest with, which is this one here. And we've got a tested hold level. So that's probably not going to hold. And let's see what happens next. Okay, so the hold level wasn't really going to hold. It's gone up and tested this hold level up here, which exists on a different time frame. So that's this rejection here. This trend hasn't been tested, so it hasn't needed to use the trend support. So that's pretty positive. And if it closes like this, it creates another hold level here for support. Also, if it closes and hard closes later across the top of this break level, the break level also becomes support. And also, if it hard closes over the top of this break level, that break level becomes support. And if it gets above this breakout level that we know is in here on a different time frame, then it can really bounce off that one. And it will start to target whatever's in here and whatever's higher up. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we now have another support hold level. So let's just put that in there. So that's our support hold level. So you can see it starts to get a little bit chocker with lines on your screen. Our trend is still where our trend is. We have hit these break levels. So this break level and this break level, if we get distribution, they can convert into these breakout levels. So we'll see how that goes. And looks like we are going to use the bottom hold level. So we've hit this hold level. So it's a case of seeing whether it supports the price. Okay. So this is our very first interior trend, which arrays off this one. So when you start to see trends array up like this, it means your support's actually increasing. Unless, of course, it comes back and hits this one, which it may do because it's opened on the wrong side of it. So let's just see what happens next. And so like price was being pulled to the trend resistance on the downside, now price has been pulled to the trend support on the upside, unless it hard closes it. So yeah, it's really thinking, it's fighting. All right, so it's been pulled now to the upside. It's still been pulled to the upside. Nothing's changed. We don't have distribution off the break level. We don't have a range of distribution off the break level, so it's not an origin level. Neither is the one above. Our trends don't move. We're still holding support. There we go, straight through that break level, back above that trend. So that trend is the current trend, this one here. Let's just see. Comes next. You know, we snuck above that breakout level. See if we close. We do. And next thing we're going to test is this break level. So that is resistance. Right? And we've got plenty of trend support. So now, if it gets above whatever this break level is, and I say whatever because it's a single candle, it's not a monthly range. We've come off monthly trends. We're probably going to break this. And that's where the time frame thing is relevant. Inside a monthly candle, you can't fit, two monthlies inside one monthly. So whatever is inside that candle is something smaller than a monthly, and therefore this break level is going to have some kind of reaction, but it's probably not going to stop the bounce of a monthly trend or a monthly hold. So we shall see what goes on next. There you go, it just powers through it. So it has that reaction, but it just goes through it. Now you can keep putting trends from the top on each one of these, but like I say, when price reverses, price targets resistance, the trends really are going to slow it down. They're going to create some intraday price moves and things, but they're not really going to be in a place to stop it. The first thing that's going to be in a place to stop it is probably going to be this break level or that hold level or the backside of this range trend through here. Those are the things. So let's see. Okay. Right, so it's hit the backside of that break level. You saw you get that little reaction off it. We may or may not get more of a reaction. There we go. So that's resistance. But we get back up inside, go straight through the range trend. You would expect at some point. So when you overextend through resistance, quite often you will find that at some point in the life of the candle or on the open of the next one, you'll get some kind of pullback. And particularly when we hit this hold level, you would expect to get some kind of pullback. So I don't know how much longer we got on this candle, but this is what you would refer to as basically pushing through resistance. And normally it ends in tears for people who chase the longs. There we go. Starting to make tears. And there you go. So we closed above these resistances. Now, if we hard close them, they become supports for the future. But as you can see, they're already acting as supports for now. So we're back inside this range trend. We've had the rejection based on our hold levels. See what we get. We might be about to get another interior trend. So let's just see how this candle closes. Closes. Does it close blue? Does it close yellow? Let's see. Okay, so it closes blue. So now we can actually take our pivot point of this down here and move it up to there. And just to keep this a little tidier, I'll delete some of these. So this is your parabola. So your first trend, your first array of that, second array of that. When this gets to sort of 5 or 6, you could probably expect to see a pretty decent pullback. And that will typically line up with pushing into some of these resistance levels that we have at the top here. So let's see, we've taken that hold level, we've tested it, we haven't hit the break level yet. So the next thing is really to get back into that upper range, which means getting over these sort of 143 levels and holding this trend. That's what we want to hold. Now we have also created a range trend, which runs from that candle to that candle, that close. There's videos on range trends. You can check those out if you want to see how they work, but that is another form of resistance and support. So once it's recaptured, it becomes really good support, and for the meantime, it's basically resistance. So let's see what happens next. What we want to see is an engulfment. There you go. So it's hit that range trend. It's pushed it down. It's trying to be resistance. So we've created another hold level. So let's copy paste something. Where's a hold level? There we go. Up there, wouldn't you? So we've created this hold level in here, and that'll be there for the future. And that will be support. So you can probably start to delete some of these other hold levels like this one because it's done, and this break level down here because it's basically done. This is still relevant. There's still stuff down here that's relevant, but start cleaning up some of this as we go. And so next thing, so you can see where the trend. I don't think that actually touched the hold level. No, it didn't. Didn't touch the hold level. So it's using the trend. So the trend support is trying to break back into the break level of the old range. It's trying to hit the break level at the top here. Okay, so we're getting up over that break level. Okay, so where's your next? You can't answer me. It's a video. Maybe leave it in the comments. Where's your next resistance? Everyone who says 202.582, you're on a winner. You get a chocolate fish or a chicken tendy. Okay, so we're coming up here, right? And what's going to happen when we get up there? We're going to run into resistance, and resistance is going to resist. So let's see. Oh, there we go. We hit resistance. So now what we've got to do is we've got to find support. So what could be support? Well, we could get support off the break levels. That's a definite. We're maybe, depending on how this closes, if it closes yellow, we're going to create another resistance here or a range trend. We could get above that and go up. If we close above this range trend, that'll become, that's 120s or something, that'll become support. Either of these levels in here could become support if we close up above. And we've still got the support all the way down here at 100. So, and we've still got this range trend running through here in the 90s. You'll be very surprised how when we get into the future how important those levels actually are to know. So, yeah, our resistance has been resistance. Okay, and our trend has been support. Like two trends really. It's more this bottom one that's doing it because it's a hard close trend. It's not so much that range trend at this stage. So let's see what happens. Okay. Well, we're holding the trend and we kind of look like we might be just opened inside the range trend. So there we go. And that's why it's really important to look where these bodies are because the body of that candle is just up inside that range trend. So you can now expect that that range trend is going to be able to act as some form of support. We'll be going to attack this new range trend. So this range trend that was created here by that candle closing yellow, which is resistance, is probably going to get this support, being the older range trend, is going to want to attack that range trend. So how long it takes to do it is sort of going to be dependent by whether it holds this trend. So if this candle is on the trend, so it can't break it, but the next one could if it closed blue and down there. So let's just see what happens next. So now we're talking about we've got these break levels that are support, we've got the range trend that's support, we've got the target up here, and it's probably going to go to it on this candle or the next because price is lazy, and we'll do a video on this at some point, otherwise known as markets are efficient. So they tend to try and target support and resistances where they intersect. It means it only really has to do it once. So it's probably going to be. So what do we got? Support. Still got support. Still holding the trend. Let's see. Oh, okay. Now we've got some resistance because we've got a hold level here. And we've got support here. So these two things are going to have a bit of a fight. Okay, so let's just mark that. Didn't go to our target where I thought it would either. You're right all the time. So now we've got this down here. We haven't actually lost this uptrend because the candle's on it. So that's still going to be trying to pull the price back up. There is actually some interior downtrends that we probably should have taken into account by now because we've moved up quite a bit. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay, so we had that trend resistance through there as well. So we should have had that marked out because then we would have known that we would have resistance here, and that's going to really try to stop the price from getting to there. And we've also got some new hold support there. So right now we're basically ranging sideways, fighting between this resistance, this support, and this resistance and this support. This is typically the hardest time to trade, where price is getting very squeezed. So people talk about indicators like Bollinger Bands and things like that, where the price gets really squeezed and tight. And that's, from a monthly perspective, that's kind of what's happening in here now. So we've gone up, we've hit that resistance, and we've bounced off our support into it. So if you were taking swing trades, etc., in these days, you'd be longing the support and TPing at that resistance as a very safe place to TP. You could hold the position open then longer if you wanted to, and see if that resistance broke, and whether the price targeted the lower time frame break level in here. And it really should, because it's a higher time frame support versus single candles. Single candles are lower time frame than the time frame of this support that's running through here. So if it was me, I'd be sitting back, sipping a vodka and saying, it's going to go up. So go. But we still haven't lost this uptrend, and we're now testing that downtrend again. Okay, so 2 candles of accumulation versus a whole bunch of single candles. This is bigger than this. So that's good. Trend hasn't moved. This candle closes blue, then it would. But as you can see, we've taken that hold level and we've just smashed back up to that topside resistance again. We may get back up inside that trend at this stage. See? Also, this not this trend, because this is a normal trend, but this one up here is a range trend. So if we do close above that, we'll probably just spike. Okay, so the break level resistance has been hit. So we've probably got some time left on this candle, but this is going to want to push the price back to the trend. It's going to be resistance. See, so if you're longing up here, you're longing into resistance. You are one of those people that is literally getting stuck in drawdown. You should be longing supports, TPing at resistance, and then patience, which is the third type of trade. It's just waiting. So this hold level is pointless now, really, because the break level's been hit, so the hold level is pretty irrelevant. This is going to be a future breakout level for price discovery, if we get 2 candles of resistance, that is. So let's see. There we go. Spike. It's all single candle stuff. So like single candle down here sort of implied that there is a potential reversal happening. Single candle up here is saying that the time frames are changing. Now, if we look at this, that range trend that was through there, it never got hard closed above. Because of that, it's still our resistance into the future. This hold level has already been tested, so it's basically gone. This breakout, or this level up here, is becoming a breakout level for an origin, because we have gone into distribution. I'm pretty sure that candle's we're gonna get 2 candles below here, and maybe this trend is gonna move. So let's just see. It all depends whether this closes blue. But also just note, we are now bouncing off our support. So maybe we close yellow. No, we close blue. So we can move this trend. We have now lost that uptrend, and it is now here. At which point we can dive through this, we can spike up from it straight away, we can do something, but we also now have a hold level up in. Shouldn't delete them all because can't copy paste, but okay, there's our hold level. And we also have, where's break level one? We also have that break level. So we've got this range trend coming through its resistance. This trend, this normal trend has moved. And because we've got this hard close above the normal trend is now all the way up there, which is pretty exciting for the future because it really gives us some room to play in here. Okay, so 189.270, that's going to be resistance. This range trend coming down here is going to be resistance. That break level there is going to be resistance. This uptrend here is going to be support. And this hold level here around 100 is going to be support. And this range trend coming through here at 93-ish, 90-something-ish is going to be support. So you got that little bounce between the range trend and the normal trend. And then we've dived down to the hold level. We reverse off the hold level, back up above the trend, back up above the range trend. We can actually delete some of this other stuff. This isn't relevant anymore, so get rid of all that. So it looks a bit cleaner. That's not relevant anymore. And so now where is our next resistance? Our next resistance is about 86, 87. Okay. There we go. We tap our resistance. So where is our support? Well, we've still got this trend support. We've still got this range trend support through here. We didn't get a hold level in there, which is a little disappointing. Let's see what happens. You could start putting interior trends in as well. So it opened on the right side of that one to break it, but until it breaks it, it's always going to be pulling it down. So let's see. Okay, now this interior trend moves to there. Unfortunately, the wick being so long, that's now resistance, so that's probably going to push us back to one of these levels down in here somewhere to try and find support to get through that trend. What else have we got in here? Well, we've got a new break level to the downside, so to maintain the monthly uptrend, we don't want to be going lower than 95. Okay? We don't really have any hold levels in there. We might get a range trend depending on how this candle closes, so we'll just see how that goes. No, yes, no. Bounce off there. What's it doing? Okay, so yeah, we do get a range trend, which is very, very similar to our normal trend, which is in there. We don't have a hold level for resistance, which is good. We haven't hit our break level to the downside, which is good. So we're still in a monthly uptrend. So, okay, we hit the hold level at the top. It's going to create some kind of rejection. There we go. So we've got our rejection, and now we've got our monthly hold level for support in here. So that's now our support. So this is going to try and push the price up. It's going to try and take this trend. It's, this hold level we might as well delete because it's already been taken. And we've got that 234 level up there. And we've got that monthly range trend coming down there. So, and this has moved. This is now resistance there. Okay, so the underside of that is now resistance. Okay. Oh, and here we are, current day. So that is how support and resistance works. Those are the things that are relevant to support and resistance. That's how you move them. That's how you change them. I was actually setting out to try and make quite a basic video, but we've probably made this a little bit more advanced than need be. But it covers things like arrayed stages of distribution and when you can expect price to change, trends, trend arraying, range trends, normal trends, hold levels, break levels, and how they act. Um, Hopefully you get something out of that. I am a bit sorry that I probably made that a little more advanced and simple, but if you watch it 10 times, you'll probably get something out of it. If you have questions on it, come join us in the Discord and uh, yeah, like and subscribe. Hopefully you like it. Cheers.